Hello YouTube, back again with another video. Happy New Year, by the way, and I hope everybody's getting their year off to a great start. So today I wanted to continue with the subject of the verbal abuse and cutting off verbal abuse before it turns into physical violence or domestic violence. This is going to be like a story time. Several years ago, I was working for this company that was like a call center for a bank, and I was doing collections type work where we would call the customers when they were behind on their credit card bills and solicit a payment from the customers. So anyway, I met this guy while I was working there, and we weren't dating, we were just talking, but there was a mutual romantic interest. Anyhow, we would talk to each other on the phone before and after work. At first he seemed like a really nice guy, real intelligent, and he wasn't exactly what I would call my type. He was kind of on the short side, about 5'7", a thin build, and he had these long dreadlocks that were about the length of the middle of his back, and he also had a receding hairline, which I thought was kind of funny. So he was maybe about 5 years older than me, and he was not all that in terms of physical appearance, but he was easy on the eyes, I'll put it like that. We would have these conversations by phone, usually while I would be commuting to work or commuting home from work. And so there was the first signs that something was wrong with him is that he told me that before he met me, he had got into a confrontation on the streets with this woman over his children. Now, I don't know all the details, but he said that he ended up getting arrested because the woman called the police on him and lied and said that he put his hands on her. And so I asked him, well, if it was a lie, why didn't you try to take her to court for false arrest or false prosecution? And he said he didn't have time to pursue it, so he just let it go. So I think he pled no contest, and after that he wasn't required to serve any jail time. So that was the first sign that something about him wasn't quite right. So then the second thing was that during another phone conversation, he told me that when he was young, like 13 years old, he came originally from New York, and he said that when they were living in New York, him and his mom would walk to the corner stores in the neighborhood where he lived, and there was this one particular guy that would always harass his mom. So the mom got fed up and told his father what was going on. So the father confronted the man that was harassing his mom, and he claims that his father beat the man with a chain. And as he was telling me this, he seemed to get a sense of, I don't know how to describe it, but it seemed like he enjoyed telling me that story. Like he enjoyed it. It was almost sadistic. Like he took pleasure in the fact that his father beat that man's ass with a chain. And I kind of feel that he may have been lying, but if he was telling the truth, it's disturbing that he found pleasure, he took pleasure in telling me that story. And he even went as far as telling me that after his father beat the man with a chain, he didn't have him and his mother had no problems with the man after that. And then he said that he would actually kick and hit the man whenever he seen the man on the streets, which I found disturbing, for a child to disrespect a grown person like that. So that was the second incident. And the third time was like the last and final straw, because what happened was that he called me and I didn't answer the phone right away. So once I answered the phone on like maybe the third or fourth ring, he started screaming at me and saying, "Woman, when I call you, you supposed to answer the phone in the first goddamn ring." So I was offended and I cursed his ass out and I said, "Fuck you, man." And I hung up on his ass. So he called me back like 2 minutes later and said that he was just joking. But, I'm like this. Respect is due a dog. And, I'm not the type of person that, takes kindly to a person trying to talk to me any old kind of way. So if you don't set a person straight the first time that they show you disrespect, then you're setting yourself up for future disrespect. So, when he called me back, he said that he was just joking, but, that's not, that's no way to joke with a person, especially a person that you don't know very well. He and I had only been talking to each other for about two and a half months, and he overstepped his boundaries by thinking that it was acceptable for him to speak to me that way. And I think that in some ways it was a test to see if I would tolerate being spoken to in that manner. That was my way of letting him know that I wouldn't tolerate it. So after that, I basically lost respect for him, and he contacted me like 2 days later, and I never answered the phone. And then he continued calling me for about a week straight. And the last time that he called, he left a message, and he was, highly upset. And he said, "This is the last time that I'm calling you. And if you don't return my call, I'm just going to assume that either you dead, you in jail, or you just don't want to holler at a brother no more." And I laughed when I heard that message. And of course, I never responded, because I didn't see him as a romantic prospect any longer. I like guys who have a balance of masculine and feminine energy. Well, everything in this universe has masculine and feminine energy. Men have masculine and feminine. Women have masculine and feminine energy. And, that's what you call polarity. So any man that tells you that he does not have any feminine, he's lying. I'm not saying that I like guys that are gay or overly feminine. If he has highlights, if he's what you call metrosexual, wears skinny legs jeans, he wears male lingerie, or he carries a merce or a man purse, or he wears guylons or pantyhose for guys, or wears a dress that's way too feminine for me. He may not be gay, but it may make me feel that he has some homosexual tendencies, or he may quite possibly may be on the down low. And I just couldn't see myself walking hand in hand with a man who wears a dress. I just feel like a man has to have some, be in touch with his feminine side, basically. You know, he has to have, not be hyper aggressive, but be aggressive when he needs to be, and assertive most of the time, but then have a balance of feminine qualities such as compassion and sensitivity. If a man is just too aggressive, that's a major turn off. I never got the chance to really get to know that man, but my intuition told me that he was prone to violence just based on the way that he spoke. So that's my video for today. Thank you for listening.